Careful, careful,
One X is down, one X is down. Run the other one.
No, Chris. Oh. Just come. Kill that. Stay close, what?
Welcome back to the North American League Championship Series. My name is Quickshot, and I'm joined by ManCloud and Psycho Sid. Congratulations on the win. Good game for you guys. You managed to get a pretty good start all the way from picks and bans. So let's go right back to the beginning and talk through this. You guys were given Twisted Fate and Shen. Walk me through the rest of the pick ban phase.
I think from like the beginning, we're just really surprised they decided to pick Ezreal first. We're like, oh, they're either going to pick TF or Shen. So the moment they left them both up, we just took them. And
it worked in your favor. It's like comfort picks for you guys. It's something we've seen you play a lot of. ManCloud, you actually picked up your 100th kill of the split in that match, so congratulations on that, holding down that #1 position. I got a question about the bottom lane. We've seen Ashe and Zyra. It's a combo Cloud9 of ones, the combo that they ran when they beat you guys in that big comeback. Yeah. I also want to talk about the fact it's not what we associate with Zuna and Bloodwater, so talk me through the combo.
We pretty much blatantly copied Cloud9. We actually scrimmed them this week, and we saw that it's a really strong team fight combo, essentially putting all the utility into the bot lane, and we wanted to try it, and it worked out pretty well in scrim, so we just kind of ran it.
Was there ever a concern for you guys that you were lacking on damage? I know we were talking about it backstage, but what was your thought process?
With that comp, it's actually really hard for the enemy team to do damage because you have so much team fight control. So if you just peel back and get the CC on the right targets, it doesn't really matter.
Talk to me about the team fights within that game, though, because even though the theory is that your enemy can't team fight, we actually seen some good fights from Coast. So did the game go to plan?
it was a lot messier than we intended to. There's a couple fights where Zach would initiate inside with TF, and I have my ulti on him, and then we did have some good taunts to follow up. But there are a lot of fights we actually didn't get much from it. Like whether we got like 3 for 1, there wasn't any, like we couldn't get an objective from it, like no tower, no dragon, no baron. And then like one of the fights Nunu got hooked, and then I ulted him, which was a poor choice, and we ended up, the fight wasn't as good as we wanted to, but it's like.
Talk me through, what was the communication like? Because that was in and around the blue buff area on coast side of the jungle. And it started off looking like, oh, maybe this could work in Vulcan's favor. And you guys ended up losing thanks to the fact that, Ezreal just tore through you guys. But yeah. What was the calling and the communication like on the team? Was it an all in and all run away? Talk me through that.
I think that fight started more as my call because Nunu did get hooked. And most of the time, people will call for my ultis, but lately I've been getting better at ulting for myself. But in that situation, I should have ulted either like TF or Ashe so they could join the fight. And I guess Smithy didn't really expect me to ulti him. So like the moment I did, he started backing off, and then he ran back in. So overall, it was like kind of chaotic.
A little bit of miscommunication. Yeah. You talked about the fact that you copied this composition, ManCloud, from Cloud9. Talk me through the planning now for this week's games. You guys have 3 games this week. You're going to play against TSM and CLG. So you said you've copied Cloud9's composition. What else have you guys done in preparation for this week?
Not much that I really want to reveal. I don't know.
Fair enough. Talk me through the training process then. Like, if you've looked at the fact that you lost to Cloud9's comp and you said, well, hey, we can adapt this. What else goes into your training and prep for a 3-game week?
Playing against C9, we realized that it's not just the Koreans. The NA can actually innovate stuff too. And so we realized we can actually learn a lot from other teams in NA, and we'll just adapt it to our own strategies.
What's the most important thing when it comes to innovation? Is it looking at your own players and saying, hey, we play these champs, we can make them work? Or is it looking at champions and saying, we can build a comp out of those?
I think it's more to the player, actually. I feel like with C9, their bot lane is just kind of like, we'll go even with the utility lane, and then we'll carry it by just pushing and getting objectives later. And that fits them really well, so we decided to try it out. And I'd say it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it seems to be something that you guys are doing well. You're currently sitting 12-6 in the league. You've got a nice sort of safety buffer as opposed to everybody sitting now in 3rd and 4th. So, Sid, how do you maintain that lead? How do you hold on to your current position?
I think the simplest answer is just keep doing what we're doing. Like, obviously, our preparation is working for us. Our scrim times are just the thinking that goes into the scrims, and like just continue to, or just don't be complacent like what we did last week, like where we gave up a loss, which wasn't like, we're not proud of, obviously. Like we gave the enemy team Shen TF, and that's what we don't think that like, our team shouldn't lose if they have Shen TF, or that's just our opinion, so.
Well, it's great to see that at least you guys have learned from the mistakes, and it's something we've seen from you guys after the Cloud9 matchup as well. You went, well, we shouldn't have done that, and closing on this game was really great. So congratulations and good luck for the rest of the games, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to be throwing over to Jat over at the telestrator. He's going to be breaking down some epic replays from the matches earlier in the day. So Jat, what have you got for us in the replays?
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. I actually have 2 team fights from this last game between Vulcan and Coast, and these 2 team fights illustrate what Vulcan needs to do in their ideal team fight and what Coast needs to do in their team fights as well. This first clip will show a Vulcan team fight victory, so pay attention to Zuna initiating on a priority target and then not only being able to take out Daydreaming, but also being able to take someone else out of the fight before it even starts. Let's just roll this clip right from here to see how it goes. They initiate with the gold cart and the ash arrow. They get Daydreaming low, and then Zion Spartan gets low as well. Here's the big thing, pause it here. At this point, because of the way Zion Spartan is flanked outside the fight, it's essentially going to turn into a 5v3 for Vulcan because of how cleanly they initiated. Then the other thing to mention about Vulcan's team comp is how well they can chase. Even though 3 people in Vulcan are not near Don't Mash Me and the rest of Coast, they can close the distance. Let's actually roll this clip, continue at full speed. Xmithy tries to slow them down. The big thing here is ManCloud's teleport. Pause it here. And you really notice at this point just how well Vulcan is chased. A couple seconds ago, everyone was around this area, but because of the new Blood Boil, the Twisted Fate teleport that took him all the way here, and the persistent slow from Zuna's Ash, they chased down multiple people on Coast and finished them off. So let's just roll the clip here to see the finish. Xmithy gets the snowballs off, they keep them slow. Don't Mash Me even gets chased down a little bit. Zuna, despite getting repelled, ends up finishing off Zion Spartan. And this was a big example of Vulcan winning the fight before it started. And when the game got a little sloppy, as Psycho Sid liked to say, we're in fights like this where they didn't get the clean initiation. Let's actually just roll this right off the bat to see what exactly happened. Xmithy got pulled in, and then the Shen ult came in. That was the call Psycho Sid talked about. And you'll notice the reinitiation by Vulcan isn't that clean. Pause it right here. We'll notice that the arrow hit essentially Coast's tank. Shifter was untouched. And when this fight actually breaks out, all of Coast, who's kind of a little bit off the screen right now, is going to be able to participate in this fight. All the initiation from Vulcan, even this Twisted Fate, doesn't result in any kills and doesn't take anyone completely out of the fight without making a contribution. So let's keep rolling this fight right here. You can see ManCloud gets in with the Zhonya's, the Zara ult's going down, but as the fight continues, you'll see it's a prolonged fight, and these are not the strengths of the Vulcan team comp. If we pause it again right here, we'll really get to see what's happened. Smithy's almost out of the fight. Zuna as an Ashe no longer has protection once Psycho Sid gets moved through, whereas Coast has their 3 primary damage dealers all at the bottom untouched, because unlike the last fight, Zion Spartan wasn't taken low. It was actually their jungler who doesn't have as much persistent threat. So let's keep rolling this clip to see how Coast was able to turn this one around. They just get the stuns on a Psycho Sid, they chase down Zuna, and Vulcan isn't good in the long-term team fights. Even though they have a lot of control, if their utility goes down, Coast would have been able to come back again and again. They get the double kill. At the end of the day, Don't Mash Me was able to chase down and finish off the ace. But because Vulcan understood their strengths and weaknesses in these team fights, they only let fights like that happen once that game. They were able to keep the goal lead, use their utility, and pull out another win. Let's send it back to the guys at the desk.
All right, thanks very much, Jat. All right, guys, earlier today we asked you to hop on Twitter and tell us, what about your game has improved the most since watching LCS? Here's what you had to say. Cornelius says, I improved a lot in terms of warding. Spots where wards are the best and map awareness.
It definitely makes it easy when you can see the whole map as an observer, and you can see wards from both teams. So.
I like that portion. As we almost say it, we're like, oh, you're on different sides of the wall, do it. But if you have that ward, you know too. Return of Fable says, Cloud9 has taught me that constant pressure on objectives wins games, and no matter what the score, you can always come back.
It almost seems like Cloud9 has taught other teams in North America that too. Everybody seems to be putting so much focus on objectives now and almost ignoring kills even.
And a quick personal aside, the LCS has definitely taught me that you can win any game, just like that guy said. The Tim1300 for our next one says, definitely my thought about farming. You get core items much more faster if you're farming instead of trying to kill the enemy.
I agree.
Yeah, you can't disagree with that. And it even played more roles in the Seasons 1, Season 2. You'd see farming be able to carry up a game when you really just didn't want to do the team fights because we didn't have all those initiation champions.
Double Lift would concur.
Yeah, Double Lift, absolutely. Star Scream says, I think I improved the most after watching LCS is learning how to be aggressive while still having an eye on the map.
That's a really key part to playing forward in your lane, is always keeping an eye on your mini-map. And people have to train themselves to constantly look back at it. And you can try even moving the mini-map around, actually.
And the Karate says, I have learned to pick champions that work in the team comp. Love those wombo combos.
It's always really fun to see just Malphite ultimates stacked on top of everything, and you just pile like a full ulti press R to win combo. Fun to watch.
That is too, and with that, it takes consideration into the fact that you're choosing things that are going to synergize with your team. You're not just playing something in a lane that wants to win. So you're helping everybody. The LCS bringing up some gameplay. It's always good to hear. So thank you, and congratulations to the winners of the Logitech gaming keyboards. Some very neat tweets, guys.
And remember to keep hitting us up on Twitter with your answers. We're at LOL Esports, and remember to use the hashtag LCS.
Don't go anywhere, because we still have 3 more games coming your way today, starting with Double Lift and Counter Logic Gaming taking on Edward and Curse.
After that, Team Solo Mid and Vulcan jump back into the Rift for a second game of the day.
And then Cloud9 looks for their 9th win in a row when they take on Team Coast. Everyone, we have to take a short break, grab some snacks, because the North American League Championship Series burns its commercial summoner spell right now.